I'm Kathy, the Clumsy Soaper. Soap making is my creative outlet, and this channel is all about soap making. Today, I would like to share with you my process on beer soap making. I have here a stout beer. I am not in any way connected to this company, and this video is not sponsored, just to inform everyone. And this beer contains 4.2% alcohol. It also contains barley. When you use this beer in your soap, remember to inform the end user that it contains gluten because some people are allergic to it. Let us do some prep work before we make soap. First, transfer the beer in a container and let it stand at room temperature overnight to produce a flat beer. We need a flat beer in making soap to ensure that the carbon dioxide is released prior to use. The next morning, I transferred the flat beer in a plastic container and froze it in the freezer for 4 hours. The ingredients that I used today are 5-oil blend, lye, frozen flat stout beer, fragrance oil, and titanium dioxide. First, let us disperse the titanium dioxide in oil. I've used the mini mixer to ensure that the titanium dioxide is properly dispersed and to avoid color specks in the final bar. Here I have used 1 teaspoon colorant load per pound of oil. Both lye and oil are at room temperature now, about 30-ish for both, and I don't have to heat my oils because I stay in a tropical climate. It stays melted except during the rainy seasons. I always prepare my oil blend and lye in advance, and I normally master batch a quantity that is good for 15 to 20 small batches for efficiency and consistency. It also helps me to eliminate other factors and variables, especially when I am testing fragrance oil and colorants. Next, let us slowly pour 37% lye solution into the 5-oil blend. The 5-oil blend contains pure olive oil, sustainable palm oil, 76 degrees coconut oil, jojoba oil, and castor oil. And for the lye, it was calculated at 5% super fat using my own soap lye calculator at www.mysoapcalc.com/soap. It is a free tool that you can use to make your soap recipes. Go and give it a try. I'll put the link in the description box below. Then we have to stir it gently until we reach an emulsion. You can use a stick blender if you prefer, but for me, I'm using my no stick blender technique. I have a stick blender, but I really like the traditional way of mixing soap, so I prefer to do the hand blending on my own. Unlike ancient days when soap makers have to mix and stir oil and lye for a couple of hours or days to get the correct consistency and viscosity, we can do it in less than a few minutes when we use higher concentration of lye solution. As you can see, the emulsion stays fluid even if the concentration is high because of the gentle hand mixing and low temperature. I've decided to divide the soap butter into 2 portions and pour a small portion into the beaker containing the colorant in oil suspension. Then I set it aside. I'd like to keep this portion white. For the bulk portion, I've added the frozen beer and stirred it gently until the beer is fully dissolved and incorporated in the soap butter. This is actually optional. The reason why I divided my soap butter is because I would want to have one side that is plain white. But if you just want a plain soap, you can just add your frozen beer into the soap butter. Another option that you can actually do is to dissolve your lye into the frozen beer as a water replacement. That is doable and that is also possible. But for me, as you know, I always master batch my lye. So what I just did is to use the master batch lye that I have at 37% and just added the beer into the recipe. But if you want 100% full replacement, it's doable. You just have to remember that your beer contains alcohol and lye will take longer to dissolve in alcohol. Next, I've added the fragrance. Fragrance load is 3.5%, and my target here is a mild and gently scented soap bar. Today, I've decided to use Dragon's Blood. Dragon's Blood contains vanillin, and it will discolor the soap to caramel or brown color, and I would like to take advantage of that. For the scent, it is a combination of soft, spicy, and earthy notes, and it contains cedarwood, cinnamon, clove, and patchouli. From the components, I know that this FO will accelerate the trace due to the presence of clove, mainly because clove contains eugenol as its main bioactive component, and it would accelerate the trace faster than a bullet train. So for the mixing, I will just stir at emulsion to maintain a thin viscosity. In preparation for the design, I'd like to have an alternating thin layers of the colored and white butter. Our day will not be complete without our little chit-chat on the benefits of beer in soap. Hops are known to contain skin-softening amino acids that can help soothe sore skin, and the brewer's yeast used to make beer has antibacterial effects that are believed to assist in treating acne. Aside from this, it also gives extra moisturizing properties and also produces a creamy lather into the soap. You that we cannot make any claim in our soap, but I am sharing this information to you because I know that this information is actually good for label appeal. Now we are ready to pour the soap butter into the loaf, and let's start to design the soap. I poured the colored butter into the mold as the first layer. Next, I will pour the two colored butter on one side and the plain white on the opposite side of the loaf. I filled the loaf with the remaining soap butter. I'll turn the music on for a while, so stay tuned. No, keep your fingers away from the screen. Don't touch it because I'll be back in a short while. For the top layer, I used a chopstick to add a pattern for a light texture. After 3 days, I've unmolded the soap, and now let us cut the loaf using my favorite soap cutter, Red Sparkle. Today, I've decided to cut the soap vertically and horizontally so that I can show you the discoloration of the Dragon's Blood fragrance oil. This fragrance oil contains 3.4% of vanillin, and you can see that the edge of the soap is now darker. This is typical, and based on my experience, after 2 to 6 weeks, the color will even out. Of course, as I've already mentioned, I'd like to keep the white portion as white as it is, and to keep its integrity, we didn't add any fragrance oil or beer to that part of the soap. I'm so happy with the outcome of this soap, and I hope that you liked it too. For the question of the day, what do you think about using your fragrance oil that contains vanillin as a colorant? Is it clever or never? Let me know by writing it down in the comment section below. I produced a total of 6 bars of mild and gently scented Dragon's Blood cold process soap. I hope that you enjoyed our soap making session today, and thank you so much for joining me. Once again, I'm Kathy, the Clumsy Soaper, and if you are new here, I hope that you would consider subscribing into my channel for a weekly soap making video, DIY tutorials, and a lot more. Hit the bell icon so that you will be notified when I release a new content here in my channel. Soap making is my passion, and I would really appreciate if you can join me in my soap making journey so we could learn and grow together. Thank you so much, Soap Sisters and Bubble Brothers, and happy birthday to those who are celebrating their birthdays this month. God bless!